Hello everyone and welcome to my B&B 724 YouTube channel. Please hit the subscribe button and give this video thumbs up. Nick's intel, Taylor's proposal, and Luna's kiss. A preview clip for the week of June 23, 2025 has been made public by The Bold and the Beautiful. It depicts Luna Nozawa planting a kiss on someone. Ridge Forrester receives a proposal from Taylor Hayes. Nick Marone attempts to influence Brooke's choice in the interim. Let's discuss the upcoming events in the CBS soap opera as you continue reading. The marriage proposal of Taylor Hayes. Ridge and Taylor are shown eating at a restaurant at the start of next week's preview footage. Taylor sits at a small table for two and pops the question. The brunette declares her desire to wed Ridge. She then begs the designer to inform her that he also wishes to marry. Ridge's expression says it all. Despite his commitment to Taylor and his affection for her, he doesn't appear particularly interested in getting married. The fact that Taylor is making a proposal is intriguing. Ridge was the one who was moving quickly with Taylor not too long ago. Ridge mentioned providing them a place of their own after the two immediately moved in together. Back then, Ridge intended to close the deal as soon as possible, but now that Nick is back after Brooke, it appears that things have changed. Ridge's expression is one of discomfort and embarrassment. Taylor will know all she needs to know if Ridge tells her not to do so at this time. However, I question whether Taylor will do everything to keep the man she desires. The intel of Nick Marone. Nick pays her another visit over with Brooke. Nick appears to have been spying on Ridge. The sailor gives Brooke some upsetting information, but it might possibly be done to influence her choice. Nick knows the blonde is obsessed with Ridge, but he still wants her back. Will she agree to go with Nick if he tells her that Taylor asked Ridge to marry her? Spencer's error. Will Spencer pays Luna a visit at her flat, according to The Bold and the Beautiful? Will admits that he ended his relationship with Electra Forrester when Luna welcomes him inside. We can tell that the preview is getting a little out of control at this point. Luna must have a fantasy. Will claims that he simply wasn't as excited about Electra as he is by Luna. Will then explains that he is there because he enjoys danger. Luna kisses him passionately after nuzzling his neck. Nick's bombshell, Luna's deception, and Taylor's proposal. Fans might anticipate that Luna Nozawa will be duped by The Bold and the Beautiful. Brooke Logan receives devastating news from Nick Marone in the meanwhile. Let's discuss the upcoming events in the CBS soap opera as you continue reading. The marriage proposal of Taylor Hayes. The weekly teaser clip informs fans that Taylor Hayes is proposing to Ridge Forrester. But judging by the expression on his face, Ridge isn't as keen to be married as Taylor is. There will be a covert eavesdropper. Anyway, Nick seemed to have overheard the marriage proposal in some way. Nick Marone's devastating revelation. Nick will then rush to inform Brooke of the situation. The blonde is told by the sailor that Taylor asked Ridge to marry her. Shell-shocked, the blonde inquires about Ridge's words. Brooke might leap into Nick's arms and set sail, depending on Ridge's response. Ridge is dedicated to Taya, despite the amusing expression on his face in the preview video. That is what he has said. Ridge might so consent to marry her, but something might go wrong at the ceremony. Even though Brooke will be more perplexed than before, Katie Logan will once more offer some insight or words of advice. The heart-to-heart with Sheila Carter Sharp. According to previews for the week of June 23rd on The Bold and the Beautiful, Sheila Carter Sharp and Deacon Sharp are in love. The two discuss the Spencer's propensity for treachery. Sheila might be reminded of the time Bill Spencer feigned love for her in order to get her incarcerated. Nozawa Luna bamboozled. Remarkably, Will Spencer appears to be carrying on his father's legacy. Will informs Luna in a sneak peek that he broke up with Electra Forrester because she wasn't exciting enough. After falling for it, Luna begins to make out with him. Will's expression, meanwhile, conveys controlled contempt rather than lust. Electra is probably going to be included. Will making out with Luna may be required for the trap, even though she won't like it. Will needs to earn Luna's trust. However, Luna might flee as soon as she senses that things isn't quite right. They are all sitting ducks if no one can locate Luna. All of it started with a kiss that nobody anticipated and that everyone would later regret, a kiss that could only occur in the soap opera world of Los Angeles, where loyalty is brittle, love is ephemeral, and truth has as many facets as a Forrester Creations diamond. Will Spencer drew near to Luna Nozawa, who usually appears so methodical, precise, and calculated in her wild, chaotic heart. His eyes glinted not with love but with mischief masquerading as seduction. Thinking this was simply another flirtation, another innocuous rendezvous, she had invited him in with casual elegance, hiding the glimmer of excitement that danced beneath her nervousness. Though his hands would lightly push against her back and his lips would brush hers, Will was on a mission, and the fire in his veins wasn't passion but strategy. Because of his father's legacy, Will, like Bill Spencer, had learned to conceal retaliation behind charm and to cover up treachery with kisses. He whispered, "Electra didn't excite me," against her skin. This was a trap, and Luna, enthralled and in need of approval, allowed herself to believe the lie. She was unaware that Electra Forrester herself might be standing right outside the door, listening in on every word, every breath, and every groan of surrender. In an effort to disarm Luna before she could seriously ruin their lives, Steffi Forrester and John Finn Finnegan had braided it together with thread forged from dread and desperation. Even Will's lips curved into something like hatred as he tasted her submission. But Luna, whose preoccupation with vengeance had blinded her, was blind to this. The mood in Illinois Giardino, across town, is very different. Taylor Hayes took a heart leap that she had taken too many times before, among candlelight and gentle violin music. She begged Ridge Forrester to be Hayes once more with more than just words as she held out a ring with trembling fingers and gazed into his eyes. Her voice cracked not out of fear but out of optimism she had no business harboring when she declared, "I want you to be my husband." Knowing that saying yes would entail lying, but saying no would mean shattering a lady who had already been broken and patched too many times, Ridge appeared split between past promises and current hesitances. Desperate to show that he had changed and could move on from Brooke, Ridge had once pushed for marriage, virtually dragging Taylor down the aisle. Everything felt different now, though. Nick Marone has returned to town. Nick, who is always the wild card, had been observing. Nick had witnessed it all from a shadowy seat at Illinois Giardino, drinking scotch with predatory patience. Ridge's icy face, Taylor's shaking hands, and the heartache looming like storm clouds. Nick understood exactly what he needed to do at that precise moment. Like a man on a mission, he got up, threw some money on the table, and walked away. Her history was standing in the flesh, her top slightly unbuttoned, her eyes flashing with the kind of trouble that usually meant tragedy, when Brooke Logan opened the door a few minutes later. Nick responded, Taylor proposed, and Brooke's face turned white. She never imagined hearing those words again, and she hadn't heard them in years. And, of all people, from Nick. What was said by Ridge? Her heart thumping like a drum, she asked in a voice that was almost audible. In response, Nick said, he didn't say yes. Not yet. Suddenly, Brooke was in a downward spiral. Did she wish for Ridge's return? Was Nick what she wanted? Would she want both? Or was it just the dream of being picked and loved that she desired? Nick didn't hold off till she responded. Leaning closer, he murmured something about setting sail, beginning anew, and escaping the mayhem. Brooke, however, knew too much. She was aware that Ridge couldn't continue to refuse Taylor's request while he was burdened by guilt. And just when Brooke felt she couldn't possibly be more perplexed, Katie Logan showed up with a side-eye-laced wisdom and an angelic voice of reason. Despite the discrepancies in her own life, Katie, who was always the logical one, advised against making decisions under heartbreak. Sheila Carter Sharp and Deacon Sharp were having a different type of heart-to-heart someplace else in town. It was about betrayal, about the Spencer men and how they leave destruction in their wake, rather than love. Sheila recalled how Bill had treated her, acting as though he wanted and loved her before locking her up like a beast. She recalled the manipulation and the falsehoods, and now she saw Will turn deceit into poisonous kisses as he became his father's son. However, Luna hadn't noticed it yet. She believed Will to be telling the truth. This kiss gave her the impression that she was winning and that Steffi and Finn were in danger. In actuality, though, Luna was stepping into a trap that Elektra may have assisted in creating. And Luna won't simply be devastated when she discovers the truth. When she sees the hatred in Will's eyes and hears the icy tone in his voice, she will be furious. Because a cornered Luna is a deadly Luna, she will flee from anything, including the flat. And nobody can stop her if they can't find her. As Ridge remained silent, Taylor continued to hold out the ring at Illinois Giardino, her fingers trembling and her voice breaking. But Ridge's silence spoke louder than words could. "Just tell me," she pleaded. "Just tell me you want this too." As Brooke gazed at the ring Nick held out, not a true proposal, but a promise of escape, that quiet reverberated throughout her living room. Every one of the 1,000 small decisions that the city was on the verge of making could have resulted in treachery, mayhem, or even love. Betrayal, most likely. Because in Los Angeles, where suggestions are ultimatums, kisses are weapons, and intelligence is just another word for firepower. That's the money. With Luna's fantasy turning into a nightmare, Taylor's dream proposal beginning to fall apart, and Nick's bombshell igniting everything the Forresters believed they knew about love, loyalty, and happily ever afters, the week of June 23rd, 2025, promises nothing but fallout. Runaway Luna chaos, Carter's tight Daphne spot, Brooke's romantic mess. According to previews for the upcoming 2 weeks of The Bold and the Beautiful, which run from June 23rd to July 4th, Brooke Logan will receive a surprise. Nick Marone will witness Taylor Hayes pop the question to Ridge Forrester during the start of the week of June 23rd to 27th, and he will promptly notify Brooke. Ridge will also be taken aback by Taylor's choice to propose to him and encourage a second marriage. Will Ridge pump the brakes or accept the proposition in spite of his misgivings? Regardless, when Brooke corners Ridge later, he will have an answer for her. Ridge may acknowledge that his attempting to keep Taylor from experiencing heartbreak when Brooke ultimately forces him to tell the truth. Sheila Sharp will consider Spencer's and how betrayals are commonplace for them in the interim. Sheila is familiar with the FBI drama because Bill Spencer proposed to her during that time. It will now be Luna Nozawa's turn to fall for Spencer's ruse. Will Spencer will collaborate with Steffi Forrester and John Finnegan on a trap that might bring about Luna's demise. According to B&B teasers, Will fling himself at Luna and act as though his yearning for the thrill she offers. She will be all for it since Will pretend that he broke up with dull Elektra because he wanted dangerous Luna. Will and Luna will make out, but how long will it take her to realize his lying? If this conspiracy drives Luna insane and results in other crimes, that might be bad news. By the time this is all over, Luna will feel the desire to flee. Luna might do something terrible and end up on the run once more because she's about to go on the run. Carter Walton might comply with Steffi's requests and attempt to persuade Hope to put the past with Daphne Rose behind her. This could happen during the week of June 30th to July 4th. Hope will never be a huge fan of Daphne, but if Daphne can be persuaded to come back, she might eventually agree to put up with her. Steffi asked Daphne to return to Los Angeles, but she will undoubtedly be under additional pressure shortly. Will Daphne eventually decide to reconsider and come back to assist with the introduction of the new scent? If B&B is keeping supporters in the dark about a significant twist, trouble may be on the horizon. Nobody can completely rule out a surprise pregnancy because Daphne and Carter might have gotten together off-screen. Brooke, on the other hand, will begin to appreciate the love and devotion Nick is giving her. Since Brooke will eventually travel with Nick at the end of July, he might invite her on an excursion in Italy in the upcoming episodes. However, Ridge will compete with Nick for Brooke's affection since he and Taylor are doomed to a romantic breakup. Stay tuned for some thrilling love triangle drama, according to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful. Steffi doesn't see the kidnapping of Hayes coming, so Luna changes tactics. According to previews on The Bold and the Beautiful, Hayes Finnegan adores his new school. However, Liam Spencer's magnanimity has sparked a dangerous storm. Sheila Carter Sharp sees the risk in Luna Nozawa's propensity of following her grandma. Luna feels that she has given Steffi Forrester Finnegan permission to make amends, and that egotistical attitude is the main reason for the impending catastrophe. John, Finn, Finnegan, Steffi, and Liam are unaware that Luna is following Hayes with the obvious goal of abusing that access. A conspiracy of kidnapping is revealed. Luna Nozawa hasn't altered at all. Steffi has correctly identified the most recent threat posed by Finn's family, but she hasn't been able to see what's happening. For Luna, the oceanfront location of Hayes School creates the ideal soap opera atmosphere. Nozawa's character often says something that nobody believes, not even Sheila, who is her biggest fan. At that point in the story, Luna claims she is not the same person who killed two individuals, one of whom she thought was her biological father. She also kidnapped Steffi with the intention of leaving her for dead, as Finn correctly informed his daughter. It's notable, therefore, that Steffi's defense did not include permission for Hayes to attend classes at Liam's beach property, which is owned by Bill Spencer. Payback awaits Steffi Forrester Finnegan. Luna is preparing a retaliatory attack. The seed was sown when she caught a sight of her half-brother at the Cliff House. Given that Luna's distorted thinking may cause her to change her general plan of action during the summer, the future is rather clear. She used origami craft as a fake present to introduce herself to Hayes. The audience was privy to Luna's innermost emotions as she contemplated Steffi's need to experience a loss. Steffi must be denied access to Hayes if her hated stepmother persists in keeping her from seeing Finn. Liam Spencer joins the battle. The introduction of Liam in this part of the evolving tale opens up a number of narrative possibilities. Since the fans are aware that Luna recently bought a gun, he could step in at any time and end up being the target of her shot. Although it was a bit much to happen to run into Remy Price at the shooting range, daytime fans were able to suspend disbelief because the event furthered the plot. For an upcoming dramatic effect, Weissman's character was infused into Luna's aura. Remy has the ability to avert catastrophe by alerting Luna's objectives. Alternatively, he might stop her from achieving her objective and end up being the victim who is written off more readily than Steffi, Liam, Finn, Hayes, or the others. However, what if Liam thwarts Luna's intentions? In such case, he would require surgery right now and either pass away on the operating table, by some miracle of daylight, have his tumor removed. When Poppy finds the Luna origami clue, does she alert Finn? According to previews for The Bold and the Beautiful, Poppy Nozawa has been concerned about Luna Nozawa's potential threat. She might want to check in with John, Finnegan again soon after Sheila Sharp persuaded her that Steffi Forrester was in danger. Poppy had previously visited Finn's office, but this time she could have just as easily gone to the Cliff House. Maybe Poppy will arrive and ask Finn if she should be aware of any other Luna-related incidents. Poppy might notice Hayes Finnegan's origami crane nearby at that point. Poppy might see the crane if Hayes left it in a visible location in the house. Poppy's employment at arts and crafts phase during Luna's childhood has always been a topic of discussion. Luna probably learnt origami from her mother, and she is fairly proficient at it. Luna may have had a great ability and passion for origami when she was small. Therefore, if Poppy notices the origami crane in Finn and Steffi's house, it can cause some concern. Poppy could nervously take up that crane and inquire about it. Finn may clarify that Hayes has been talking about it non-stop since a nice lady handed it to him. It might be Poppy who discovers that Luna has been talking to Hayes and bringing him gifts. After relating this story to Luna, perhaps Poppy will warn Finn about the risk. Perhaps Poppy even recalls that Luna's favorite project was making origami cranes, or something like. Poppy has the best chance of solving the riddle here, regardless of the circumstances. Regretfully, Poppy might be discovered and realize this too late. By then, Sunshine may already be guest lecturing and deciding how to proceed with Hayes. Should Hayes be used to capture Steffi in the upcoming B&B episodes, Steffi might also be abducted.